a little bit of rain at some point today, or we might even get rain in the next couple of days. The way that the clouds are looking, but we will just have to wait and see. The weather changes constantly here. Can never quite make up its mind. Brent is still doing some lovely birding up in the Masai Mara, so let's head back over to him and see what he has to show us.
Well, yes we are. We're looking for birds, but we're also looking for lions. So we're in the big sausage tree pride, one of their favorite hangouts, and then the tree that they're named after is just over here. We're going to go have a look underneath it now. Now I know Noel was discussing orchids and species of orchids, and there are quite a lot of species of orchids in East Africa and in Kenya. Now the main reason being because of the forested areas here. You've got remnant rainforest left over from the last ice age. So at one stage, most of East Africa was actually the same sort of type of rainforests as the Congo Basin. But as the earth dried, those forests rescinded and grassland took over. But in high rainfall and high mountain areas, and there's some areas that just behind our camp, you still have some of those forests. So you do have multiple orchid species there. But as always, and which people quite often forget, there are a lot more grass orchid species than there are tree orchids in Africa. So I have seen a few grass orchids in the Mara, but I haven't seen one for quite a while. I think probably going to have to wait till sort of May, or March, May again, to have a look for grass orchids. Now, Manu is dead set on spotting the lions before me. We've got a little bit of a competition going here. There was a day a while ago where Manu was on fire, and I think he spotted everything except a cheetah before me. He spotted lion, leopard, I can't remember what else, but anyway, he was thrashing me that day. I got sort of towards the end of drive. I spotted one lone female cheetah before he did. But so every time Manu's on the vehicle with me, there's added pressure. Both of us. See, Manu's cheating. He's standing up above the camera so he can get even higher. But it's fine. It's fine. My eyes will win out in the end. So it doesn't look like the lions are hanging around here at the moment. So Victoria's wondering, when is Big Cat Week? Victoria, our addition to Big Cat Week is on the 15th of December in the US. So we will be coming to you live from not only the Masai Mara, but also from South Africa. So it'll be a real treat. Lots and lots to see. Well, I think we're definitely going to be looking, well, for cheetahs and lions in the Mara, and I'm sure the Djuma team will be on it with the spotted leopards, I'm hoping. Who knows, maybe Tandi will let us see her little cubs for Big Cat Week. Wouldn't that be a treat? Those are elephants, not lions, Manu. So I'm just watching Manu. His head is on a swivel. And we're going to loop round. There's a nice little herd of elephants where this road turns. So we'll go stop and spend some time with them while we continue to search for the large sausage tree pride. And of course, I haven't given up on the birding front yet either. Is that another black-bellied bustard? That doesn't look like a bustard. It is a black-bellied bustard. It is a black-bellied bustard. You're just looking a bit wet. So while I sneak off towards the elephants, we're going to send you back to Noel, who's got a leopard, but it's a reptile.
Indeed, we are. We're finding all the leopards that aren't leopards. Leopard orchids, leopard tracks, and a leopard tortoise. A tortoise. We love a leopard tortoise. I still haven't found you your mating tortoises, but don't worry. It's on the list. This one is busy hiding just like a leopard would. So not only does its shell look like leopard fur, but it is doing its best imitation of a leopard hiding in the grass. Those little stalks there, well, I say he, but without checking underneath, it could be a she, and I'm not going to pick it up. We're going to leave it alone. There's its little head. We can see you. Munching away there. They are vegetarians, herbivores. They eat grass and plants, as opposed to terrapins that we would have seen in places like Chitwa Dam, or where we're headed now at Treehouse Dam, that will eat things like doves and fish, and I'm assuming lizards. And then turtles that live in the sea, in the ocean, very specialized feeders, eating things like jellyfish or fish species in there. Now this tortoise, you can just kind of see it where his little head is there. He's got a little hooked type beak that helps him come through and grab onto the stalks of grass and break it off and consume it. And because we had that nice bit of rain a little while ago, and also because it's summer, we're starting to see them more and more. I see their tracks on the road constantly. If I get a good sequence of the tracks, I will stop and show you for sure. I actually, now that I'm saying that, I haven't seen any terrapin tracks to show you, so that's something I will keep an eye out. Now, let's see if we can find an actual leopard. I feel like we talk about this a lot, and lately it just hasn't been, my leopard juju has been gone. Or maybe Tristan has all the leopard juju, I don't know. But we are coming up to Treehouse Dam now, and we might just get lucky with Hosana pops up. Maybe Tingana's here. Maybe Tingana's here. Maybe they're all here having a tea party. Who knows? All right, but just checking as we come up, because there's a little drainage system that feeds into the dam. Just checking sort of down in as much as possible and under the bushes here, around these termite mounds, in the trees, just keeping an eye out for anything that can be lurking, but specifically for our rosetted beauties. So Brent was talking about Big Cat Week coming up in December, and it's super exciting. I'm super excited. It's going to be my first time interacting with Big Cat Week in the fun manner that we get to do with our show, and I'm hoping that all of our leopard, lion, and cheetah playmates out here in the bush behave accordingly and show themselves. Ooh. Oh no. Trying to put cuckoos on the there's a red-chested cuckoo we had earlier, but he flew. I had a Deirdre's cuckoo yesterday, but he did not want to show himself either. Just checking the inflow, the drainage system that feeds in. Ooh, sorry, I'm having a couple of gremlins, so let's head over to Brent, who has some elephants for us up in the Masai Mara.
Look at that. There's that lovely breeding herd of elephants we were talking about. Look at them. There's some really tiny babies in this herd. So tiny that they actually can barely see them through the grass. And it's so quiet. The wind's starting up a little bit, but you can hear the elephants stripping the grass. Now the elephants have become a lot more visible since the wildebeest have gone. They have been hiding in certain spots to try avoid the pandemonium that comes along with the migration. But now I'd say we easily see 200 plus elephants a day while we're driving through the top end of the triangle. Off to the left, Manu, there's the tiny, tiny baby following mom, and say not much taller than the grass. Hello, little chap. Well, I know a lot of you are always very excited to see ellies, and they are one of my favorite animals to spend time with. Very peaceful. Got a bit of an unexpected sand bath there. It's just nice to sit quietly with them sometimes and watch them go about their business. But remember, if you do have any questions about elephants, hashtag Safari Live on whatever platform you're watching on. The best way to get questions. Oh, look at the little ones to the left, the two little ones playing. A tiny one and an older one. Oh, that little one. Oh, look at that. Isn't that cute? So the little one's probably month and a half old at the most. The other one's probably about 6 months old. But you can see the bonds between elephant family groups are always very, very strong, and especially if they've started at that young age. So they're probably cousins. Actually, not probably, they are cousins. Still, both of them still haven't quite mastered the art of the trunk. And it's always wonderful to watch little ellies while they're learning to use their trunk. It can be very, very cumbersome. Now, Chelsea, he doesn't want to leave. Play with me, play with me. Chelsea would like to know how many years does it take for an elephant to be full grown? Well, with a male, they probably only reach their full weight and size at around between 20 and 30 years old, probably closer to 30. Females around 20. Females will become sexually reproductive at a very young age, around 12 or 13, but normally closer to 15 or 16. And males, although they become sexually mature, as in they are able to mate from the age of about 15, it's very seldom that an elephant bull below the age of 30 will get a chance to mate, and that's because of the bigger bulls. As soon as there's a female in estrus, those big bulls will descend and won't give any of the little ones a chance to mate. So can you imagine, you're going to be very sexually frustrated for about 15 years. Hi, Mary. Mary is wondering, do elephants start eating grass soon after they are born? No, they'll play with little bits of grass and bushes, but generally they have to master the art of the trunk. So they will be reliant on mother's milk for the first couple of years. Oh, this one's Now, you'll notice that some of the elephants in this herd have one tusk or a broken tusk, and the tusks don't grow back to their full size, but the tusks will keep growing throughout their life. But once it's broken, they don't really ever get that lovely shape that like that one's got, the one that's in front of us now. You will notice a lot less broken tusks here in the Mara than in South Africa, and that's due to the diet. Here the elephants will feed predominantly on the luscious grass and very little on trees and bushes, where in Southern Africa, for the summer months, about 80% of an elephant's diet will be made up of grass and 20% of trees and bushes. But as the dry season sets in, that changes completely, and only about 20% in some parts, and even as little as 10% in other areas, is made up of grass, whereas the trees and bushes make up the predominant sector of their diet during the dry season. Whereas here, the elephants have access to grass all year round. And that's why you don't see as many broken tusks. They don't have to use them. And you'll probably find, I'm not 100% sure on this now, this is my personal opinion, that the elephants in the Mara probably live a little bit longer than the elephants in Southern Africa, due to the fact of their diet being predominantly grass. So it's not, their teeth aren't worn down as fast as a diet that's consisted of hardwoods like mapanis and acacias. Oh, little one, don't get too far from mum. Now, a good way to judge an elephant's age, it's not an exact science, but a very good way for a little elephant. If it can fit under mom's belly, then it is under a year old. This one can fit under with quite a bit to spare. So, as I say, a month or two old at the most. Nancy is wondering, what is the white in the corner of their eyes? Well, Nancy, it's a build-up of dust and gunk that is expelled from the eye with a discharge. So basically the same as what sleep would be in our eyes, when the eye gets rid of all the dust and stuff that's been collected during the day or while the animals are moving. It gets put there, and often you will actually see an elephant remove it with its trunk when it gets quite a big build-up. So that's just a build-up of dust and grass seeds and whatever else the wind might blow into an elephant's eyes. Now, they've got very long eyelashes, and those eyelashes are there to collect as much of that as possible, and that will also, when they blink, form that white down in the eye. So it's basically dead. While our little elephant herd carries on their meanders, Manu and I are going to carry on trying to find the first cat of the drive. And why don't you let us know? Let's have a little poll. Who's going to spot the first cat of the drive? Manu or Brent? Hashtag Safari Live. Now the pressure's really on. But Noel has got one of the cooler or most cool armored little creatures that like to scuttle around and poo.
So we had our dung beetle earlier this morning who was busy building a ball, and now we found a dung beetle who has made his ball, a rather large ball. Looks like what we would call a brood ball. So a brood ball is where they will lay a little egg in there, and then they bury it, and then it hatches, and then it eats through the ball, and then comes out in a very simplified terms. So now you'll notice what he's doing. He was on the road, which was a little bit easier for him, and then he stopped, got on top of his ball, looked around like he's doing now, and then rolled off into the grass. So only he knows where his home is and where he wants to take his ball to, and he's using the sun and aiding in his direction. So he uses the sun on a sunny day like today. If it was cloudy, he'll use the magnetic pull from the poles, and at night they use the Milky Way, amazingly. So obviously, as you can see, extremely strong. I mean, that ball is 4 times his size. It's ginormous. And he's basically pushing with his back legs and with his front sort of, if you were to leopard crawl on the ground as a human and sort of drag your body, but he's doing it backwards, and then you're then doing like a push up backwards and rolling the ball. It's very intricate. I don't know if, yes, I don't think I could do that with my body. I'd be interested to see if anyone, I know James is quite fit, I wonder if James could do that, but I think that would be difficult. You'd really have to have huge upper body strength. It's like a reverse wheelbarrow. There we go, that's what I was trying to think in human terms. It's a reverse wheelbarrow. Now, we've talked about it before, but it's worth revisiting as we start to get our dung beetle species being more active into the summer months here. You get many, many different species of dung beetles. I'm not quite sure how many, but it is a few. And then within those species, you get sort of 4 different behavioral types. You get, when they make their balls, you get endocoprids who go into the dung pile to put their ball in there, or you get paracoprids that go underneath the dung pile. Then you get telecoprids like this little guy here, who makes his dung ball and then rolls it away to wherever he knows his home is. And then you get kleptocoprids who fly around looking for other dung beetles like this telecoprid, and then he lands and he fights, and it can sometimes be a long drawn out fight. They sometimes even track each other, and if the kleptocoprid wins, then he takes the ball, steals it, and goes away. Now, I've seen fights with these dung beetles that have lasted well over 30 minutes, and back and forth fighting, and when the kleptocoprid wins, he starts rolling the ball away, and then the telecoprid will sort of pick himself up and dust himself off and then track him, I'm assuming via some sort of pheromone that is left behind, or possibly just the scent of the dung, and tracks him off to try and beat up that kleptocoprid again and steal back his dung ball. It's very intricate, and you can, if you can get close enough, you can actually hear them sort of buzzing at each other, and you can when they're large enough, you can hear those legs sort of engaging with each other and hitting each other. It's absolutely fascinating. We were talking about it earlier this morning about why we all get so fascinated with these dung pushers, but it's really just, I'm watching the monitor now, and again, it's like watching television. Jared, you're wondering how far he'll push that thing. Jared, it's completely up to him. He's either going to push it just a couple of meters, or, he's going to push it several hundred meters. It's relative. He really knows where his home is. You can follow him, and then eventually you'll get to see where he goes. It would be an interesting exercise one day to find a dung beetle like this and just follow him as much as you possibly can. You have to keep a little bit of a distance because he is aware that you're there, and could possibly change his behavior slightly, but no, that's something that we'll have to definitely keep on the cards, Jared. Tracking, or rather we should say trailing, a dung beetle and his dung ball. Well, Rolf apparently had a wonderful little CSI, a little crime scene investigation with you earlier, so let's head back to him and see if he has anything else along those lines to share.
I was talking to you about that knobthorn a little bit earlier and what the elephants do, and I did say to you that I wanted to show you a little bit on the Marula as well. Now, I know that there's always a lot of talk about the Marulas and so on, but have a look at this one. You can see the elephant. This is a bit of CSI once again, of elephants sticking their tusks in here. They're literally trying to get underneath this bark, and you can see the redness there. Now, please excuse me, but I also need to make a little bit use of this tree. From yesterday's walk, I've been absolutely annihilated by ticks, the little pepper ticks. Now please, I'm not disturbing this tree very badly at all. We're just going to go a little bit into the inner cambium like the elephants would do. Okay, we make a small little hole. You see this juice here? Alright, we're going to be taking a little bit of this because I don't have access to doctors or anything like that, so we just want to take a little bit of juice like that. Now that is from the juices of the inner cambium. This is extremely high in antihistamine. Now, where I was bitten on my ankles yesterday by the ticks, I'm going to be rubbing it on there and just taking away that itchiness. It was very bad yesterday, so I'm just going to take a little bit more for the other leg, okay? And we'll say thank you to this tree before we leave. Just take a little bit. You know, Mother Nature also provides for us. As long as we don't disturb her too much, she will keep on giving. So Let's just put a little bit more on the ankles there. I've been scratching and being itchy all the way as we've been going, so I just thought I'd catch up a little bit there. The only one that has a higher antihistamine than the Marula is the false Marula. Now, if any of you have not seen a false Marula, looks very similar to that of a Marula tree. But if you look at the Marula, it's got quite sort of roundish patches of bark as it goes up the trunk. The false Marula has got long fissured sort of pieces like this, not these rounded pieces as you see on this, but very similar. The fruit of the Marula ripes on the tree and then drops down, whereas the false Marula the Marula falls on the ground and ripens on the ground, whereas the false Marula ripens on the tree, and those fruit are purple. Right, we're going to continue on our walk looking for Tandi, but in the meantime, I think Brent has got some hyena to show you.
There we go. We've got Howard walking down the road. Now, it's quite... Oh, he's got a lot of saliva hanging out of his mouth at the moment. Now, I'm not sure which clan this is. We're sort of on the boundary between the North clan and the Happy Zebra clan. And hyenas are able to cover incredible distance with that lope of theirs. Now, just from the direction this hyena is walking, I think it's probably safe to say that it's a North Clan hyena heading back towards one of the many dens. And off it goes on its patrols. It was a nice little interlude. Of course, I hear disappointingly that everyone is backing Manu to spot the first big cat. Of course, as you know, I like a good competition and I don't lose very often, so Manu, now I'm taking it even more seriously. And of course, I know lots of dirty tricks that I can play on Manu as well. I've got one person backing me. Thank you, whoever that was. So our plan from here is we're going to head down towards the river around the crossings. Who knows, maybe the Paradise Pride are around, or the Musketeer Lion Coalition, not the cheetahs. This afternoon we will be looking for the Musketeer cheetahs. So both Jamie and myself will be heading across the river to around the Talek area. So when did I leave? I can't even remember. The day before, when we left that area, I saw 8 different cheetahs all within 2 kilometers of each other. So we're going to go put 2 vehicles in that area and hope for the best. So it's going to be quite exciting. We'll be across the other side for the next 3 nights. Judy says she knew it would fire me up if everyone voted against me. Oh, well, we'll see. Manu, I might leave you in the Talek River for the crocodiles later if you win. Or we might have the first cameraman crossing of the Mara River. Colbert wants to know if Manu wins, do they get to swap spots? Well, Manu, what do you think, Manu? Just for a second. Yes, cam-ops tend to like being cam-ops. They don't like being in front of the camera nearly as much as they like being behind it. But they do like to get one over the presenting team every now and then. So both of us, our heads are on swivels. Now, another nice thing about the area we're heading into, we might find a whole bunch of new bird species that away from the grasslands as we move towards the river, that we're not really going to see out here in the grassland area, but around the river. we might be lucky. And depending on the type of grass you're in, you're going to find different species as well. So where you've got longer grass, you're going to have certain species. Where you've got very short grass, we're going to have certain species. So, oh, here we go. What have we got? A Harrier Montagues. It's a female Montagues Harrier. Flying really fast. Nice camera work, Manu. Now, while Manu's focusing on the bird, I'm going to look on the other side of the road to see if there are any big cats with my binoculars. So keep on that bird, Manu. Keep on that bird. Oh, you're lucky there's no big cats on the other side. See, there's ways to make Manu point his camera and look in the opposite direction to where I want to. But there we go. Nice little bird for the morning. A female Montagues Harrier. Hello, Dr. Rob. Dr. Rob wants to know if I've seen any animals killed by lightning out on these plains. I have not in the Mara, Dr. Rob. Although, actually, Silas, I was chatting to the Silas guides, and they found a giraffe that was struck by lightning. That's on the other side of the river. Now, I've seen giraffe that have been struck by lightning in Zululand. Now, quite a scary thing. I was in a place called Busanga in Zambia. It's a big, open, marshy swampland surrounded by miombo forests. And we'd been watching a single buffalo bull just sort of munching along in the grass there. And there was a massive storm around. And while we were watching the buffalo, it got struck by lightning. So that was quite scary. But I haven't seen anything struck by lightning yet. Oh, look at a little pectoral patch testicular right on this blade of grass here. Oh, he's gone. He was very fast. He disappeared. You could hear that little zit, 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 and that was the pectoral patch testicular. I'll try find another one. See, I couldn't help it. I just did that. Manu immediately jumped and looked that area. But okay, we're going to keep searching for the first big cat of the drive in the Mara. While we do that, let's go back to Noel, who's exploring the road network of the Sabi Sands.
Friends, we are also looking for our first big cat of the drive here in Djuma, and the best update that I've had this morning, other than our own leopard tracks, is that Tundi was spotted about 15 minutes ago, and she was moving not far from where we've been active this morning, but we probably missed her by about a half an hour, so we just got to sync up our clocks. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to cut in front of where I think she might be coming out and see if we can possibly pick her up. So I'm just busy checking and busy looking. She is moving. Her den site is much farther north from us, so she's obviously been out in the night, possibly hunting, and maybe doing a little bit of territory marking. So we're gonna listen for alarm calls and check in the shady spots and hope that we come across this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lady. So keep all of your keep all of your good positive vibes going with our leopard search. Hopefully it will pay off. So again, sorry I'm not staring at you all through the camera as much as I would like to do normally, but I am keeping my eyes peeled for this beautiful leopardess. Now my thought process on this is that she, after being out for what I would assume be most of the evening, just because of the distance she is away from the den, that her trajectory should be straight back towards the den. So we're going to pull a big loop and then start pulling smaller loops in between. And until we find her, find tracks, this is what we're going to be up to for the morning. Now, we've chatted a little bit on and off about how long do lion or leopards leave, or hyenas even leave their young. And again, to produce the amount of milk that she needs to produce for her cubs, and we're not quite sure how many cubs yet because she's only had her den site for a couple of weeks. They're teeny tiny and blind and inside of that termite mound, and we've closed off that area so as to give her time and not stress her or the little ones out in any way. So we won't know. She might have had 1, she might have had 2, she might have had 3. I worked with the female leopard once who had 4 cubs. Only 2 survived, sadly, but that's a pretty normal state of events. And so she'll leave those little ones for... Sorry, hold on. Here she is. Here are her tracks, everybody. Do you need me to get it? Perfect. There we go. Sorry, hold on. Sorry, I swear I heard something just in the drainage. VM, did you hear that? Oh, you've got your big earphones on. Just hold on. No, I don't think I heard, well, look, I know I heard something, but I'm not hearing anything after that. Let's follow these tracks, eh? Let's do some tracking. So she's moving on the outside of the curve here. Kathy, you're curious about whether a leopard, when she has young cubs, will do the same things every day and sort of get into a habit. Kathy, her habits, as it were, are going to be similar to that as before she had cubs, but she's going to tighten her circle. She's going to be moving more within her core territory, because that's where she had her little ones, and functioning within that smaller sphere for the most part, as long as there's food for her. But you know, she's not going to do things. I'll put it to you this way, Kathy. She's going to be doing more similar things because she has to check on the den site more, but she's not going to completely change her entire routine because she's got the babies, if that makes sense. Sorry, I think these tracks have headed off here, but I just want to check. Alright, let's head over to Brent and Manu. Sounds like Manu might be winning the cat competition, so we'll head over there and see what they have to show us.
Manu is not winning. People just think Manu's going to win, and that's the problem. They think he's going to win. Of course, now I have to drive with my knee so I can get a little bit of extra height so I'm on the same level as Manu. Even out the playing field, so to speak. Now we are coming into an area where there's a couple of different prides of lions where their territories border. So it's always a good spot to have a look. Oh, and there's a big bird up ahead. By the looks of things, on top of the shepherd's tree. Let's get a bit closer and get the light right. Now, I think Big Birding Day is coming up in... there we go. Judy H was also wondering about Birding Big Day. I said it's coming up on the 25th. And I think we should have a Djuma birding competition. I don't know. What do you guys think? Amara Djuma birding competition. Now here is the second largest eagle we get in this area, but it's got the largest wingspan. So the largest eagle in terms of weight and body is the crowned eagle, but there is a martial eagle. Now, there's a very interesting guy who's studying martial eagles in the Masai Mara by the name of Stratton, and he's got actually satellite tracking devices on some of the eagles. We can't see if this is one of his or not. And he's found some incredible information about them. The fact that they hunt at night here in the Mara as well as during the day. And they were very much considered to be diurnal predators, but on the full moon nights they have been recorded because of that satellite data can show the speed and what they're doing hunting in the dark hours. Isn't that incredible? They are magnificent beasts. They are able to take animals up to the size of steenbok, baby impala, baby tommies definitely, and so they're often seen with monitor lizards is another one of their favorite prey. Scrub hares. They have a very diverse diet to the martial eagles. And we're quite lucky to see quite a lot of them in the Mara. Like a lot of large predators, be they be avian or mammalian, the biggest threat to them is loss of habitat and loss of food due to agriculture and things like that. So it's wonderful that in areas like the Mara and the greater Kruger, where Djuma and Chitwa are, we do get to see these apex predators. Now, of course, we are still in search for another apex predator, which I think is the most likely big cat we're going to see this morning. It is, of course, the lion. And Manu still thinks he's going to see one before me. I don't think so. Now, there's very, very few cameramen who beat me out on the spotting. Manu is one, and that was only one day. I must just take that back. It was one day. Another cameraman who's very good at spotting is the wildebeest, Wiem. Let's quickly look into this murrum pit here. Lions often like to hang around murrum pits. No, nothing there. Actually, while we're looking for the lions, we're coming into an area that's very good for rosy-throated longclaws. We didn't get a good view of them earlier this morning. Actually, the first rosy-throated longclaw I saw in the Mara was up at this junction here. But yes, I think a competition between Djuma and the Mara would be quite good for birding big day. Now, even though the Mara has more species than Djuma, a lot of the species are much easier to find at Djuma because we can't really get into the forested areas where that hold a lot of species. So it'll be an interesting competition. And I'm sure my good friend Tristan is due another beating from me. And get Tristan to stop focusing on leopards for a day. See if he remembers what birds look like. Would like to know, is Birding Big Day International? I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. So why don't you guys find out for me? Just have a look on the Google and let me know. Is Birding Big Day International? I know it's in Africa. It's the same day, but I'm pretty sure it is international. Now, for those of you who like birds, there's a very funny movie with Owen Wilson and I think it's Jack Black, called A Big Year. And some people, I mean, I'm quite competitive and I do love my birding, but I have met people like that appear in that movie, and it is quite scary how competitive they are when it comes to birding, and will travel around the world trying to hit all the species or a number of species in a single year. Now, I love my birding, but I think that competitiveness would be a bit too much for me. You don't actually have time to enjoy where you are when you're rushing around ticking. So you have birders, you have tickers, and I think that's the same with anything, and even with mammal species or whatnot, rushing around trying to tick every different species. But often when you do that, you forget to enjoy where you are and the environment you're in. Now you'll see them on safari as well, the tickers, and you'll be sitting with lions or leopard or cheetah or elephant, everything, and this car will come in at about this speed. No, I'm telling you about tickers. Mind you, I got you there. And then literally they go, oh, lion, 2 photographs, and then they're on their way to the next sighting. Sorry, Kirst, I missed that question from Lara Moore. Lara Moore would like to know, is birding big day the day the guides will wear a beak mask? I'm going to say probably not. And I'll only wear a beak mask if you convince James Henry to wear a beak mask. And maybe a crown, a little tropical crest. Okay, well, we continue searching for birds and big cats. Let's go back to Rolf, who's looking at one of the most interesting little ecosystems that you get in the Sabi Sands.
Folks, we're just having a look here, a little water hole. It's a very small one, but these are obviously very, very important little ecosystems for the little arthropods and things that live inside them, but also bringing up a big water source for the bigger animals that we generally try to find for you on the big screen. So we left that kill site of Thandi. We've picked up on some of her tracks again, and then we've heard news of one of the other vehicles, one of the other guides, actually seeing fresh tracks of her quite far away. We've got the hardy-dar ibis, the noisy fellow, calling off to our left, telling us how scared of heights he is. So with these little water holes like this, they're very, very important, and very often they can be started by something small like a bird making a dust bath, and after a little bit of rain, it's made a little bit of an impression, a little bit of water in it, and a warthog might come along. There's those hardy-dars calling again, the hardy-dar ibis, as they fly over there. Very similar flight pattern to that of the hamakop. So back to the story I was saying. So the warthogs, they can then make that into a little bit of a mud bath, and then later maybe a buffalo comes and lies in that, and that progressively gets a larger and larger pool. Maybe after a buffalo, maybe an elephant comes and sprays some mud on himself, takes some soil out, and then you start to land up having these little depressions here. Now, it might not look very inviting. It doesn't smell that great as well, and that's as a result of animals standing in the water, defecating in that same water, urinating in it as well. And I must tell you that the smell that we're experiencing right next to it is quite pungent too. It doesn't smell that great. I wouldn't exactly be putting my hand in here and taking a sip. It's not. It would probably make my stomach turn and could probably make me quite sick. So if I had to, I would take this water, I would boil it, and then I would maybe put in some chlorine tablets if I was going to have to drink this. But right next to it. There hasn't been any tracks because of this quite steep sides. You can see some scrape marks where some animals have been possibly slipping in or even lying down on the side. We do have a little bit of a track here of one of our culprits who do love wallowing in water holes, that of the warthog. They love lying in these muddy pools, and then afterwards they will get out and also go and rub up against rocks and trees like the elephants and the buffalo, trying to get rid of those parasites. Over here you can see where this has been flattened. This is obviously a bit of a bigger animal that's come and lay in here. Maybe the warthogs have been sort of sitting next to each other and lying and rolling in the mud. They're trying to get that mud to stay on them. So they're picking the water up and pushing it onto the side. And then with that motion, the mud is then sort of starting to stick. You can see there, it's not as hard as on the sides over here. It's quite muddy, that, and soft. So those warthogs, they will be trying to pick that mud up, and the buffalo and the rhinoceros and elephants, they try and pick that mud up and then go and brush it off on the trees, getting rid of the parasites, but also helping with thermoregulation. And it does help. I think it's also a fantastic feeling, a little bit of that exfoliation. You know, they've got such thick skin, and if you've ever experienced an area of thicker skin on your body where there's a little bit of callus, you know, it can be quite irritating and quite difficult to get to that itch on that spot. So you can imagine if they've got such thick skins, it's quite difficult for them to get relief on a scratch. And if you've ever watched a warthog or an elephant or a buffalo rubbing up against a branch, and where they're really getting to that spot, you can see in their face the enjoyment of that scratching. So we're going to continue along here. We're going to still try and follow up on Thandi. Hopefully we can pick up on her before we end. MJ, question, did we find some frogs in here? There could definitely be some frogs in here. There's a nice overhanging branch there that would always be good for frogs, especially the foam nest frog, the tree frogs. Unfortunately, the water is a little bit murky because of the animals that have been using this as a mud wallow, but I can guarantee that there will be frogs in here and tadpoles. And in the evening, in the early evening, is when you start to hear them calling. And you know, most predominantly, we've got the eastern olive toad, who's got a very, you know, the traditional sort of croaking noise of a frog. I don't know if Seb can see that dragonfly over there. Now, they would have larvae in the water, who are ferocious hunters, but this dragonfly would also be flying around here looking to find a mate. So yes, there would definitely be frogs in here. Eastern olive toads, foam nest frogs. We would also have bubbling cassinas and all sorts, but generally towards the evening times when it's cooler, that's when you start to hear them calling. Right, folks, we're gonna take the trail again. We're gonna walk on, and hopefully I can bring you some more information on Thandi, but I do believe that Noelle is doing something similar to us, and she's also in the area. So let's cross to her and see if she can give you a little bit more information on Thandi. We're going to continue.
Hi. All right, we are still looking for Thandi. I've got very little information for you. We've basically taken the angle, the direction our tracks were going, and looped around to see if we can bisect. I think we're now just a bit too ahead of her. We'll have to wait and see. It's also entirely possible that she got sidetracked, maybe with hunting. We've seen lots of little impala and nyalas around. It's also possible that maybe a hyena is around and she doesn't want to go straight back to the den site with that hyena there. There's all sorts of different possibilities. The other possibility is just our timing is off by just a little bit. So we're just going to keep circling where we are. Obviously, she's not now where we are now. We're not too far away from the den, and so we're not going to go there. But if we can catch her before she gets there for a cuckoo, that would be fantabulous. Also, just having a look in the trees and around and listening for birds and alarm calling. And just sort of trying to be the right place, the right time. We've got all of our information. We pretty much have all of our puzzle pieces in this particular scenario. The last one is just to actually see her, to be honest with you. So that is what we are busy trying to do. Now, as she's walking around, her tail will be lifted up a little bit and sort of curled at the end. A little bit of white under the tail will be showing. So my eye's trying to pick up for that. For me, that is one of the easiest ways to identify and pick it out, because white is a very odd color in the bush. And then that, as well as listening for those bird alarm calls. And so that is pretty much where we are on the Tandi front. Not much else happening other than the epic search that is continuing on now. I feel as if a lot of our leopards this morning just do not want to be seen, which is perfectly fine. And remember, with leopards, they don't want to be seen. It's very, very hard to track them down. And they also need a little break from us, just like we need a break from parts of life. And they will move. They know exactly the areas they need to move into to take a breather. Not that, you know, we hound them incessantly or anything like that, but they're fully aware of us within their context. And I've seen it, especially with lion prides from time to time. They just move into areas where they've got no contact with anybody, and then when they're ready, they come back out. It does indeed happen. Now, we've got all these small little pans that we're passing every now and then, so I keep hoping for her to pop up and have a quick drink. But my sneaky suspicion, with the clouds now just moving away from the sun and really feeling that heat, is that we've again either missed something and she's already made it back to her den, or she's possibly just inside of this block here having a rest. But again, conjecture until we find her and can tell from there. Sorry, what was Liz's question there, Curse? I just had my earpiece out to listen to the bush sounds. Liz, that's a really interesting question. She'd most likely eat the leopard cub. So Liz is asking, if one of the cubs dies, would the mom remove it from the den or eat it? And in all the scenarios that I've personally seen and heard from colleagues of mine, she would definitely eat it. She needs to put those nutrients back into her body. Really excellent question. Actually, VM and I were chatting about this last night with, we went to go check on our hyena cubs. We only saw one of the two younger siblings. I'll probably go and check on them at some other point just to keep us all updated. And we were just chatting about if one sibling kills the other sibling, would eat it, and I said yes. And then something I've noticed with lions is that when the lion cubs die, they don't eat them as much. I've seen it every now and then, and I've seen males eating them, but not as much as, say, leopard or with hyena. Yeah, good question. I like that question. Keep them coming. Okay, Tandi, my girl, please, maybe just one little face out, just so we can show you to everybody. Yes, but it really, just in the past 2 minutes with that cloud cover going away, it's gotten very warm. I've got this little pan over here, nice little spot to rest in the shade on our way back or to have a drink. And I'm picking these spots because these spots are nice for us to see her as well. Not hearing any bird alarm calls. Okay, copy that. Thanks, Kirst. Station Cheetah Cut Line, Gowrie, Maine for Noel. Morning, I'm standing by. That's fantastic. Rexon, come in. Rexy, I can't find this Tundi. Can I come join you that side? Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Rexon has found us a leopard. It's not Tundi. It's not too far. But while I'm heading that way, let's head over to Brent so he can chat with you while I go and assess and hopefully get a sighting.
Hello everyone, welcome back. We have some good news and some bad news. The good news is we're on our way to lions. The bad news is neither Manu or I can claim them because we got told where they were. So we've decided that is not part of the deal. And of course, we'll be heading across the river this afternoon. And I think we should keep this going, Manu. Next 3 nights, we'll have a tally of spots, who spotted the most cats. We can rule who is the undisputed champion. So we got a report that Scarface was just down here on the Mara River. So we're at the crossings at the moment. We're going past Picnic Crossing. Now also, while we're on our way to Scarface, since we're on the river, we might get some different birdies, which is always exciting. Now, of course, with the Paradise Pride around, you never know. You might spot a lion on the other side of the river that other people have not spotted just yet. So we only know about Scarface. We don't know about any other lions. It seems like birding big day is a Southern African thing. But why not include Kenya, I say. We're going to have a quick look in these little thickets here. We might get some flycatchers, maybe even a robin chat if we're lucky. While we slowly head towards where Scar is. Let's have a quick look. Any fluttering about inside the thickets? Not just yet. One thing actually surprising, we haven't seen a secretary bird today, and we normally see them every drive. Now also, away from the thickets, we've got these very short grasses, so we could get a whole host of different little birdies there. Avanti is wondering, are leopards rare in the Mara? No, they're not. They're actually quite common. Oh, there's another one for this morning's bird list. Rupel's starling. Oh, he's charging us. Careful, Manu, careful. He was charging a grasshopper, but running closer to us. So this is the Avanti. I'll get back to your question in a second. This is the equivalent to a Burchell starling in southern Africa. So the Rupels takes over, and you can see one of the main diagnostic differences between Rupels and Burchells is that eye. The Burchells having a dark eye, and the Rupels that brilliant clear yellow eye. And you can already hear there's quite a lot more bird activity around the river edge where there's some bushes. Oh, he's coming right up to the car. Hello. Pretty bird. Okay, there's a little bird party down here that I can hear calling, so we're just going to have a quick look. Now, quite often when I refer to a bird party, you get lots of different species of birds that are traveling in a group together, and it works out quite well because often they're not competing for the same food sources. So even though they travel together, it gives them a bit more protection. I'm just going to get around the right side of the light there for you, Manu. Okay. Well, we'll start with the ones that might fly away on the far right. It's a pair of, difficult to see in this light, but swallows. There we go. Very pretty swallows. Now, they've got a brilliant white front, which unfortunately we can't see at the moment. I'm hoping they will turn around. And you hear that zit, 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 is a bird we actually quite commonly see in Djuma. You can hear it calling. We'll go have a look at it shortly. Well, Lily, age 6, would like to know what lives in the river. Oh, come on, turn around, birds. I'm going to try and get a bit of you. Well, crocodiles and hippos and catfish and tilapia and monitor lizards and water snakes. All sorts of stuff lives in the river. Oh dear, that bird that was making all the noise has disappeared. It was a rattling testicular. Now, I'm just trying to get a better view of these swallows. With this light, it's quite difficult to make out which ones they are. But I think there might not even be a swallow. I think there might be a martin. I'm going to try and get opposite them. I want to see their front. So, normally the swallow that's got... Let's have a look. There we go. The long white. There we go. I can't really see. Can you lighten that up for me, Manu? Manu's going to try work some camera magic. It's just very difficult in this light. Yes, I don't think they're actually a swallow. I think they're a martin. There we go. There's a bit. Oh no. Okay. There we go. There we go. It makes a big difference when you can see. So it is a swallow after all. Now, who can tell me which swallow? That is the question. # Safari Live. You can tell me which swallow this is. Now, Jojo says a white-throated swallow. It's not. It is one of the bigger swallow species we get. I'm just trying to find a good picture of one to show you. So you get two swallows that look quite similar to that. And that one... Oh, there we go, showing off nicely. So remember, if you know which swallow this is, # Safari Live. Oh, quickly. Look at that. It's a cuckoo and a flycatcher. Oh, the flycatcher's gone, but the cuckoo's still there. Classes cuckoo. I know a lot of you have been missing the classes cuckoo on your bird list. And well done to Robin, who's got the swallows who have vanished, correct? It was indeed a red-rumped swallow. But, oh, right in front of me, Manu. Okay, if you go there. I think it... Look at that, there we go. Class's cuckoo. One that's been missing from lots of people's birds lists. Mikey, Mikey. There we go. Look at that amazing emerald sheen on that cuckoo. So I'm sure that's... Oh, and off it goes. And good news, it sounds like Noel's found something equally as beautiful.
Hello, hello. So Rexon has found, while we were busy looking for Tundi, Rexon has found this beautiful male leopard. I'm not quite sure who he is. I think Rex said it might be Tumba. It would be my first time. It says Hosana. Sorry, Hosana, I misheard there. Again, my first time. I also want to say, Klaus's cuckoo, fantastic. James Richards, were you watching? I want to know. So it is a good day for everybody all around. Leopard and Klaus's cuckoo. Yes, he is a beautiful male. I hope you all are as excited as I am. I said Rex and kisses earlier. I was too excited. All right, he's moving behind Rex just at the moment. So we're just going, Rex is going to move so that he can position a little bit better. And after Rex moves, I'm going to move. But we got our cheeky, sneaky leopard. Too exciting. Sorry, I've wrangled Vildy and I into a tight little enclosure. He's climbing up onto this termite mound. Oh, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful boy. Okay, so I fall in love quite easily, and I think this is my new love. Let's try that. Ooh, Brent has lions hunting, so it seems as if the big cat scenarios are just carrying on, and Hosana has gone down for a bit of a groom, so let's head over to Brent quickly and we'll stay here.
Okay, we've just spotted a female member of the Paradise Pride, and she's jogging like she's about to stalk to something. There's a lot of zebra around, and the zebra do cross the river at this time. I can't see what she's seen. And she is looking quite peckish. And just a little, just to note who spotted it first. Manu, who spotted the lion first? Brentosaurus. No, that's not my name. But anyway, yes. So she's stalking. I just want to move a little bit closer in case she ducks down into the crotons. But just stick on her, Manu. Bex, as soon as you're ready with the action broadcast. So we don't know what she spotted. She might have heard something. Okay, so we're not sure what's in that croton thicket or beyond the croton thicket, but there's something that's caught her attention. There was a massive herd of zebra moving down towards here earlier. Welcome everyone. We've got a lioness stalking something. We're not sure what it is, right on the edge of the Mara River. She is a member of the Paradise Pride. Remember, this is coming to you 100% live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. Okay, we need to move a little bit to see if we can see what she's after. My name's Brent, Manu's on camera, and as I said, we're 100% live in Kenya with the Paradise Pride hunting. We don't know what she's hunting. but she's getting into that stalk, very slowly move. Now, there's a lot of big crocodiles here. Maybe the crocodiles have caught something and she heard that and she wants to try steal it from them. Can you see her, Manu? Oh, there she is. She's just behind that little thicket, but she's gone into that sort of very still movement that they do when they get very close to something. Now, these lions will fight with the crocodiles if the crocodiles have prey close to the bank. There we go. See how slowly she's moving. She's waiting, she's watching. We can't see what she's watching. There's a topi across the other bank, but I don't think that's what she's after. Unless the topi are about to cross the river. And this is the Paradise Pride's game plan, basically. As soon as an animal swims across the Mara River, escapes the jaws of death of the Nile crocodile, and are fatigued, the Paradise Pride pounce to take advantage of the fact that the animals are fatigued. Romit would like to know if they're wildebeest around. No, they're not, Romit. There's only zebra and topi that I can see, and Thompson's gazelle at the moment. The main body, or the main migration, the 1.5 million wildebeest that are not part of the Loiter herd, which is resident in Kenya, have already headed south into the Serengeti National Park. What has she seen? It's quite exciting because we don't know what she spotted, what's down there. I'm just trying to have a look behind it, see if there's any more members of the Paradise Pride around. But I can't see any. And I can't hear any thrashing in the water that a crocodile's feeding. She's definitely watching something intently down in the river. Fortunately, we can't get much closer to the river at the moment to have a look what's down there. Now, as I said, the crocodiles could have caught something, but if there's lots of big crocodiles, a single lioness won't risk fighting with them unless there's a moment of opportunity she might spot that she can sneak down and steal whatever they have. I have seen the Paradise Pride lionesses fight with crocodiles over a buffalo kill before. Okay, I'm just going to go forward a little bit. I saw some crocodiles heading downstream. Now, you might see some other vehicles around us. I'm just going to try to see if we can see what's below, what she's so intently staring at. Let's try from a... Okay, we can see there's a massive crocodile there. Can you see it, Manu? But it doesn't look like they're feeding on anything, so I'm not sure what's attracted the lion's attention. Now, Joshua is wondering, is this normal hunting time for lions? Yes and no, Joshua. Normally lions prefer to hunt in the cooler hours. However, the Paradise Pride have this very specific tactic that they wait around these river crossings, and these river crossings happen throughout the day. Oh, there's a topi running straight towards her. Just hang on, I'm going to get us into a better position. Now, remember, this is 100% live from Kenya. So maybe the topi on the other side crossed and she missed her opportunity. Now this topi is separated from its herd and now heading down towards where the lioness is waiting in ambush. Now if the topi comes a little bit closer to us, it's almost going to walk into that lioness. Excuse me. This is very, very exciting. That topi obviously has no idea the lioness is there, but it looks like it might have chosen the right route to avoid her. Now remember, there are other members of this pride that we might not have seen that could be hidden in different spots in the excuse me. Coco is wondering, will the topi retaliate against the lion? Not normally, Coco, topi, Coco mixed together. The topi is its main form of defense is the fact that it's the fastest antelope in Africa, the whole hartebeest species. Okay, we're going to move again, Manu. Now, I can't see the lioness. I don't know if she's changed her position in the bushes, if she's even noticed that the topi has come in behind her. I'm just having a quick look. Can you see the lioness, Manu? Not yet, no. She's still oblivious that there's a topi right next to her. And the topi looks like it's going to try cross the river. Okay, hold on. I'm going to get into a different spot. The lioness is still oblivious. Now I'm going to try and get to a spot where we can see where the topi is going to attempt to cross the river. The lion still is unaware that the topi is there. I'm trying to look for different members of the Paradise Pride. We can't see them. Now, obviously, part of that topi's family has already crossed the river, and it is now trying to get to the rest of the family. Now, crossing by yourself is a dangerous thing because of the amount of crocodiles, particularly in these areas. And if that lioness only looked behind her, she would realize that there was an easy meal right there. Now, what happens sometimes is that the topi might start swimming and then change its mind and come back if it sees a crocodile. So we don't know what's going to happen just yet. And remember, this is 100% live from Kenya. I can still see the lioness. She's still... Oh, no, there's the topi is running back. I think it saw a crocodile. It hasn't seen the lion. It is still oblivious to the lion. Now, as we were following that lioness coming this way, it is a young topi, probably 2 years old or so. There are other lions to the right of the topi, so this topi has put itself in a pretty precarious spot. Crocodiles straight in front, a lioness to the left, and another lion in that area where this topi is heading towards now. If it keeps going in that straight direction, there is some other members of the Paradise Pride. Rochelle is wondering, how big is the lioness's pride? Rochelle, the Paradise Pride is one of the biggest prides in the Mara, but they quite often split from each other. They operate on both sides of the Mara River, and I've seen at least 8 adult lionesses, and at a stage they had about 14 cubs. Now, I haven't seen them for quite a while. I have been on leave and I have been focusing on other areas recently, so I'm not 100% sure how many of those cubs have survived. Is that lioness moving yet? No, she's not. She's still in the same spot. Now, as I said, oh, I think there's lions on the other side of the river as well. I can hear a little black-backed jackal alarming. So I think there's lions on the opposite bank as well. So, as I said, the Paradise Pride operates on both sides of the river. Can you hear that, Manu? You can just pick up that black-backed jackal's alarm call. And now the other topi is staring down into the bushes, the topi on the opposite bank. So I think it might have spotted other members of the pride on the other side of the river. And it's was looking directly towards where that jackal was alarming. Now, this topi is in a very bad spot. If one of the other lionesses, see that the other topi has run. How close is the car behind us, Manu? The other topi has run back away from where the other lions are, and that's bringing this topi right towards where our lioness, the original lioness, is hiding. So you've got the topi there, and just probably less than 50 meters away is the lioness on the edge of those croton thickets. And if the topi keeps heading in that direction, there's a good chance she might have an attempt at catching it. Jay Nulla is wondering, how was this topee separated from the others? And well, what I think has happened is they crossed the Mara River, and there's possibility that some of them got attacked by crocodiles, and this one decided to come back to the bank they were coming from, or vice versa, and is now trying to join up with the rest of the herd. Okay, this topee is now heading straight towards the lioness. She is still not realized it's there. She's still facing the opposite direction. This is very, very exciting. Now, as you can see, the topee's getting closer and closer towards the lioness. And especially if it heads closer to the river, the lioness is going to have a chance. So the topee hasn't seen the lioness. That lioness is in the bush almost directly behind the topee. She still hasn't noticed the topee. And the topee hasn't noticed her. Oh, topee, you're heading towards the wrong spot. Now, it looks like the topee's looking to the bush where the lioness is, but I actually think it's watching the other topee on the other side of the river. It has not noticed the lioness yet. Romit is wondering, can a topee outrun a lioness? Yes, it can if it gets enough of a head start. Lions have incredibly fast beginning bursts. They run at about 21 meters per second, but not for very long. A topee, however, can keep up that speed for a long period of time. So the lioness needs to be within about 10 or 15 meters of the topee for it to be a successful hunt. So she's in that thicket there. There we go, you can just see her. She hasn't noticed the topee yet. And you can see how dangerous it is for the different antelope species here. Crocodiles, lions, all around in the same area. Oh! Mark says it's dangerous for the animals, but is it safe for my cameraman and myself in the vehicle? Yes, Mark, we are quite safe. There we go, he spotted it. Well done, Topee. The little Topee has spotted the lioness, and he is off. And no easy meal for the lions this morning. Well done, little Topee. And I said that young Topee's probably had a very hard morning, avoiding crocodiles and lions. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer and get a view of that lioness who was so focused on the Topee on the other bank that she forgot about the Topee behind her. Okay, let's have a look. I don't think we're going to get the best view. I just want to see if it looks like she's going to get up and on the move again. But she still hasn't even noticed that there was a topee behind her. Still facing the opposite direction. And now the topee has spotted her. The chances of her succeeding in catching it are very, very slim. But that was really exciting. And as you know, you never know when we're going to go live from the Masai Mara. Jamie and I will be out all day looking for lions and cheetahs up to mischief. So remember to keep an eye out on that go live notification. But for Manu and myself, for now, we hopefully will see you in a little while with a bit more magic from the Mara. Okay, everyone, wasn't that exciting? I think that lioness is probably going to have a snooze in that area now and wait for the next attempted crossing. I'm just going to let these cars go past. And yeah, she looks like she's gone flat in the shade. Now she's in a really good spot for the rest of today. because there's a lot of stuff around. There's a lot of zebra around, so she might still be have another opportunity to hunt as the zebra move down towards the crossing. So it is a good spot to be. And Scarface is, I think, somewhere around here as well. We're going to see if we can try find him now. Hi.
Morning. Looking for Scarface?
Yes.
Is there one from
No, he's just behind us here. So we're watching the lioness.
Oh, the two lionesses they're trying to kill in the morning. They've been trying since morning.
Oh, unlucky for them.
Is that the cruise? Are you Brent?
Brent, yes. We're live at the moment.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So what was your name?
Choco.
Choco, nice to meet you.
Fantastic. I followed you guys this and I met your, I think, your girlfriend was on the other side?
Jamie.
Jamie is
Yes.
2 weeks ago?
Yes, sir.
How long are you here?
Oh, indefinitely. We're out every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We're actually heading to the other side this afternoon.
Yeah, I'll head there tomorrow afternoon.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Well, good luck. Cheers. Here we go, Safari Live fans everywhere. So if we pan off there, as I said, she's in a good spot because unfortunately most animals tend to forget where the lions were, and the urge to cross the Mara River is great. So the zebra might meander a bit too close to where she is hiding. Now, of course, as I said, there's another lioness behind us somewhere, and Scarface is around here somewhere. So we'll go have a look if we can see him. So she's in an ideal spot to take advantage of the animal's need to cross the river. Okay. Let's see if we can find Mr. Scarface. And I just want to say, I just want one more time. Manu? Who spotted the lions first, Manu? There we go. It was me. Yes, so 1-0 so far. We've still got a good 3 nights with together across the river. So we'll see what the count is after that. Now, Megan's wondering, will lions ever eat crocodiles? Yes, they will. If they can catch a crocodile that's small enough and out of the water, lions will definitely eat a crocodile. I have actually seen them eating crocodiles. I've even seen a leopard eating a crocodile. So you must remember that all the predators, crocodiles, lions, leopards, are all opportunists. And given the opportunity, they will eat each other. So I think the old man, Mr. Scar, is somewhere around here. There was another lioness that I saw when I first saw that female jogging. But she wasn't being very much help during the hunt. There she is. Now, where is Mr. Scar? He's probably snoozing around here somewhere. Oh, there's that cub as well, or sub-adult now, right in the back. So there we go. There's one of the other adult lionesses from the Paradise Pride. And a little bit, is that behind her to the right, Manu? Is that a sub-adult or another adult? It looks like another adult. No, it's a sub-adult. It's a little one. Now, we've had some fun with these little ones chasing giraffe before with no intention of ever actually catching them. I think if they ever managed to catch a giraffe, they wouldn't know what to do. But the young cubs like chasing things, as little cats do. I think I see... No. So, I'm sure Scarface, being a male lion, is lazily lounging under a thicket somewhere. Okay. I'm going to say goodbye to the Paradise Pride and keep moving for a bit. Try give Manu a chance to redeem himself. Well, that was a very close run thing, that Topi. If that lioness had realized that it was behind her, I think it would have ended very, very differently. And judging from those jackal alarm calls, I'm going to say there's more lions around those big trees there. Could be other members of the Musketeer Coalition, or it could be other members of the Paradise Pride. And they do, as I say, operate on both sides of the river and swim the river quite frequently. So Ginger's asking, is there any animal that lions won't eat? No. It all depends on the situation. There's certain animals they don't like to eat, like civets and honey badgers, mostly due to their foul-smelling spray that exudes from their anal pouch. But if they're hungry enough, they'll eat anything, including each other. I'm just trying to see if I can spot the lions on the other side of the river. I'm pretty certain that they're there somewhere in those thickets. Oh, this lady's on the move again. Definite missed opportunity there for the Paradise Pride. Bella says, I need to see Scar before I go to bed. Well, I think, unfortunately, Bella, we can't see him from the road, and he's very flat under a bush at the moment. There she... Well, who knows? Maybe she will wake him up in the next 9 minutes, Bella. And I've got a feeling she might just flop down in one of these thickets close to the edge of the river. Julie's wondering if I've ever seen lions take down a giraffe live. I have. I've actually seen lions hunt giraffe quite a few times, but not since I've been with Safari Live. When I was guiding before that, we had a pride of lions in Botswana that really used to love giraffe, and then also the Mapocho male lions in the southern Sabi sands used to eat giraffe quite frequently. Now I wonder, is she going to head back to the pride, or is she thinking about swimming the river and joining the lions on the other side? No, looks like she's going to stick to the triangle side for now. Oh, she's heading back towards where the rest of the pride were resting. Slowly but surely. Oh, which means we've got to turn around again. So when we first spotted her, she was jogging at speed to try and get into a position to catch the topi. And unfortunately for her, no such luck. Well, the Paradise Pride is such a successful pride because they dominate this territory around the crossings. And even when the wildebeest aren't here, the topi cross, the zebra cross, so there's always opportunities for an easy meal. And they tend to camp out at the crossing points, waiting for those opportunities. Oh, she's heard something. I can hear it as well. There's guinea fowls alarming on the other side. So I think that's where the other lions could be. We heard the jackal alarming there, and now guinea fowls, almost a sure sign that there's a big cat. Now, guinea fowls could be alarming at a bird of prey, but a black-backed jackal doesn't alarm call at other things apart from big cats that are close to their dens. I'm going to stop for a drink. Hello, Ray, a new viewer. Ray is wondering, how often do we see lions eat something? Very often. With the amount of lion prides we have in the Mara, and with the lion prides in South Africa, we don't see the kill as often as we like, the takedown, but we do see them feeding quite often afterwards. Just having a quick look across there. There's definitely more lions on the other side of the river, just judging from her behavior. As you said, they swim the river quite frequently. Now, the Paradise Pride do quite a bit of hunting during the day because they're around the crossings, and the animals don't cross as much at night. Normally, the zebra and topi and whatnot will cross during the day. Slowly heading back towards the rest of her pride. I think she's going to disappear into those croton thickets shortly. Well, it has been a wonderful drive so far this morning. Nice little bit of lion action at the end. Good birds to start with. Looking back, seeing if there's any other potential meals about. Unfortunately for her, all the zebra and topi around here are wise to her exact whereabouts, so it's going to be a bit difficult for her to actually catch one. But as I said, they forget quite often, so there's a good chance they might get a meal at some point today. Megan says, I love the way a lion moves. It is quite incredible to watch. So when they're moving like this, she is trying to use as little energy as possible as to not get hot. But when the time comes, they can put on that incredible burst of speed and agility when it comes to catching something. I think she's just found some lion urine, and she's having a good sniff. We might see a phlegm and grimace. There we go. So definitely lion urine she's smelling. And as she does that phlegm and grimace, what it's doing is she's taking the scent over the Jacobson's organ in the back and the top of her mouth, and that urine is now passing information onto her. Lots of things like estrous cycles in females, males' health, and all sorts of things like that. So there we go. It's like a little lion signpost in urine. And she's just getting all that information. She's downloading from the lion web what that's happening with that lion, whose urine she's smelling. She's going to head off to join the rest of the pride, and we're going to start heading home for some breakfast. As I said, we're going to be out for most of the day. We're going to be heading towards the Talek region, both Jamie and myself, and hopefully this afternoon we'll be fun with some cheetah. So we can have lions in the morning, cheetah in the afternoon, or you never know, we could have cheetah, lion and leopard this afternoon. So always very exciting to be out in the Mara. So for the last little while, we're going to watch that lioness as she slowly strolls towards the rest of her pride. And it has been great having you on board for this sunrise safari, and I can't wait till the 25th, where Djuma versus Mara, birding big day. But from the Paradise Pride, Manu and myself, we'll see you in a little while.